Branding is a key to helping you create consistent content and to help you connect with your audience. Now, when it comes to branding, you can think about selling things, right? When you think about selling in marketing, of course, that's going to be important, but it's also equally important when it comes to connecting with your audience. And you can do it in a genuine and unique way when it comes to branding. There are some simple things that you can do that can help you brand you to connect with your audience. And on today's podcast, I am going to let you behind the curtain, behind some conversations that I've had recently with my clients on how to apply my all small approach to big productivity when it comes to branding and marketing in a very simple way. So today, we're going to talk all things branding on today's podcast. Welcome back to the All Small Productivity Podcast. And whether you are watching on YouTube or you are listening on your favorite podcast venue, I'm so excited that you are here today. We are dedicated to helping content creators be able to produce quality content while balancing work, family, and your faith. My name is Amber Davis, and I am a productivity coach, a speaker, and the host of this podcast, along with my amazing co-host and social media guru, Logan Rodman.
Hello.
Yay! Welcome, Logan.
Round of applause.
We are so excited that you're here today.
And wherever you're listening from, we would love to hear from you. So connect with us on YouTube. If you're listening on your favorite podcast venue at amberanddavis.com or connecting with Amber on Instagram or LinkedIn, drop your comments. Make sure to like and subscribe and share your favorite episodes with your friends.
Great. That's awesome. And you can also, and I think Logan mentioned this, but you can text me, but on the show notes, if you're listening on an audio venue, at the very top of the show notes is a place for you to text me. I can't text you back, but I will take your comments and we can, share them on a future episode and be able to go over those comments. So please, we really just want to hear from you and to be able to let us know, like, what is resonating with you? What questions do you have? What future, content would you like for us to create for these podcasts to be able to help you as a content creator who is balancing work, family, and your faith? We want to be able to connect with you. And one of the ways that I want to be able to connect with you too is if you are interested in creating a podcast, either a video podcast or an audio podcast, I'd be interested to know if a membership for you with other podcast people just like you who want to be able to create a podcast or are already creating a podcast. They want resources around how to be able to scale their podcast, how to be able to grow their podcast, how to be able to schedule out and batch their content, and all the productivity tips that I have given my clients when it comes to podcasting. If that's something that you're interested in, please text me on audio or drop a comment below. And then also, just to help you as a free resource, right now you can go to, right now you're listening or watching, but go to amberanddavis.com and you can be able to get my free teaching, The Best Way to Plan Your Week. And it helps you to do that within 30 to 45 minutes or less. Every Sunday, you can plan out your week. And the reason why I say Sunday is because it's helping you launch into your week. So I have a checklist for you that is super powerful that helps you to be able to do that. And then once you get that free download, you also will receive on every Sunday a tip from me to encourage you and help you walk it out, all the things with work-life balance. So check it out, amberanddavis.com.
Yeah, and all of those links are in the show notes too. Yes. So when you're done listening or watching, make sure to check that out. But I wanted to share our comment of the week.
Oh, yay.
This is coming from Instagram from Christina J. Warren. And she was commenting on a video we posted about our AI episode.
Yes.
And she said, "This is fascinating. I'm excited to learn more." And if you haven't heard that episode, go back and listen to it. I can't remember which episode it was. But
that is episode, I'm going to pull it up here.
On YouTube.
The AI episode it's episode 75 if you're listening, and it's episode number 8 if you watch it
I was
on
close.
YouTube.
I was real close.
So it's called Why Human Content Will Outrank AI Content. Mm-hmm. And there's some real encouragement in that episode because there are some new changes in the Google algorithms as well as YouTube. Google owns YouTube. So it is new changes that are helping content creators be able to actually, whether they want to or not, it's helping human content outperform AI content, which is pretty remarkable.
Yes, that's so good.
So that's going to be really fun. Okay. So, all right. So today we've got that change that we talked about where it's instead of just multiple questions, we are asking one question that kind of has to do with the topic, but it's our song. It's rapid fire fun question time.
Well, it's not so rapid fire.
Oh yeah, not so rapid fire fun question time.
Oh,
we nailed it.
Good.
We did nail it.
You know what
time.
Broadway's calling us.
That's pretty impressive.
That was really good.
Yes,
that was really good.
We'll create our own content. With our jazz hands.
I feel like I do that every time at the beginning. I'm like, hello.
Yes. I was laughing so hard because I was doing some marketing myself and I was looking back at an old episode and one of the recent episodes, and I think it is episode, what is it? It's episode number 9. And episode number 78, I think. I want to get it right because it's so funny. It's episode number 9, and it's audio episode 76.
Okay.
And it's 2 moms talking about content creators and their children. And that's a really great episode. But one of the things that I share on that is about being a ham and about the hooves. So you have to, in order to know what we're talking about, check out that episode number 976 on the audio episode, episode 9 on YouTube. And that rapid fire fun question is pretty funny.
You'll get a good laugh. But you also get some quality content from that one too.
That is really
Man, we've dropped some good episodes, Amber.
Yes. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been good.
So good.
It's been so good. Okay, rapid fire, not so rapid fire. Right. Fun question.
Okay.
What's the first brand you think of?
Oh, yes. And I was going to.
Is that how I'm supposed to say that?
Exactly. But here's what I didn't do. I was going to have a hat, and we pull out of a hat different brands.
Oh.
And I don't know why I didn't do that. But
we don't have that.
But that's okay. But so when
the first thing I just thought of was McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay. When you think about McDonald's, what do you think about? As far as their brand.
Well, I think about a Big Mac.
Is that what you think of?
Yeah.
I think of the arches.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The yellow arches, the M, the big M.
The big M.
The big M.
I mean, I think if I was to see
red box,
if I was to see a yellow M anywhere, I would immediately think of McDonald's.
For sure.
Yeah, I would immediately think of McDonald's.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. And then other brands I think about is the swoosh for Nike. That is so, it's just one symbol.
Right.
And it's
and you know what it is.
You know exactly what it is.
Yeah, I feel like Apple is like that too.
It's
true. It's an apple.
Right.
And you think of the whole, they're not just phones, but computers and everything. You think of Apple.
And that's crazy to me that it is just an apple and it's taken over. It's taken something that's so common.
Right.
And they made it into a brand.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. But you know why it was an apple?
No.
Okay, because Steve Jobs, when he first started that company, that he was creating computer systems for schools. So he created an Apple because it's teachers.
Oh, because of teachers. That's so interesting.
So the Apple brand was supposed to make you think of teachers and school and all those things.
I don't think of that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, who does now?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's how it started.
That's so interesting.
Which is kind of interesting.
What a fun fact.
Yeah. So, and then other brands I think about what
could even be not just the symbol, but if I think about J. Crew, the brand, I think about coastal style, the vibe that they bring. Somebody who you think about you go in and you feel you're important.
Okay.
You feel preppy style, but just a little elevated in class.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I think of J. Crew, I think of navy stripes.
Yeah, coastal.
Navy stripes and a blazer.
Yes.
That's what I think about. And boat shoes. So, yeah, I guess
coastal.
So. Coastal.
It's the vibe that they put out.
It is true. It is the vibe that they put out.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. One of the things I was talking to my daughter about this is the millennial like age group. The Gen Zers
Right.
see the millennials as the millennialist, or not millennialist, like minimalist, very minimalist and very like sterile style. Meaning that in the sense that
Attacked. I'm personally attacked. Look at my beige.
Sorry. But like that minimalist,
Yeah.
and that like everything, like from the coffee shops that are like that, it's like there's no art on the wall, or if it's art,
that's
it's very
so true.
minimalist. It's very like there's no colors.
It's so true.
White and maybe some barnwood somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's just that style.
Yeah, very clean. Oh my goodness, this is so true.
Yeah.
Because this is my house, but the Gen Zers are rubbing off on me, and I'm like embracing color and embracing a lot, like my style. I've recently been posting on my Instagram how I'm in a style crisis, because I like feel like I want to add color and I want to change things, but I don't know what to wear.
Right.
Because I'm not used to it.
Yes.
And I was like, I need a necklace, but I don't have any necklaces.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Okay. So that's very interesting. Whereas like the Gen Xers are more like that classic style.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would say more traditional style. Maybe I'm just describing myself.
Yeah.
Because a
no,
lot
I
of
agree
Gen
with you.
Xers are not that way.
Are they not? No, I do. I feel like that. I feel like that. You have like a good, like, well, we go back to like J. Crew or like Banana Republic.
Right.
Just like a elevated classic style.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I could see that. But
Ralph
now
Lauren.
color is becoming more prevalent.
Loving color.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with it, but I'm
Gotcha.
trying.
That's
So
amazing.
if you're a Gen Zer, come to my Instagram and help me
With your color.
SOS, yeah.
That's funny.
It is funny.
So, but see, I like more color that complements each other. And a lot of the Gen Z style is like contrasting colors.
Oh, yeah. And like lots of mixed patterns and stuff.
Right.
It's fun.
So see, I mean, just age groups have kind of a brand to them.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how that works. And like, so whatever the brand that you're putting out, I mean, I'm just going to talk real about myself when it comes to branding.
Yeah.
Is that I wear a lot of blue.
Right.
I love blue.
Yeah.
It's my favorite color.
It looks good on you. I
just love
it.
it.
Works.
It looks good on me. That's what I hear, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I love it. And so every time that I remember talking with somebody that now has grown into social media. I knew him as a younger high school student with friends of my daughter. But he had said, when I think of Amber, I think of blue. And I was like, that's interesting, because it's not that I'm just trying to be a blueberry all the time.
Yeah.
But it's that that aesthetic, it makes sense. I like it. It's genuine to me. If I just picked a color out of the hat and just tried to make that my color, whatever, that wouldn't work.
Right.
But it's very genuine to me. And so when it comes to branding, it's really important to be genuine. And I wanted to talk about branding from an aspect of I have clients and I've helped them with branding for their website, helped them with branding for like how they do their videos and how they are able to kind of express themselves in that way. And I apply my all small approach. I mean, my all small approach to big productivity is about how to be able to go small for balanced, intentional, go-getting productivity. So it's very simple. You just apply it's a simple three-step method of the first is A for all, is A, and it's asking the right questions. So whether you are trying to redesign your house or whether you are trying to be more productive with your time management, whether you are trying to rebrand or trying to do your branding, you apply this all small approach.
Yeah.
And the first step is always ask the right questions.
I need to come back to this for my fashion crisis.
Right. So you can ask the right questions when it comes to that. And so asking the right questions is, what are you known for? What is, just think about like, what kind of things are you known for? What is unique about how you approach those specific things? How do you what kind of problem have you solved in your own life that you have been able to help other people solve? So what is that you always start with that. You just go simple, very simple. What is it that you're known for? And so I'm known for being able to be create content and to be able to help content creators, help busy professionals, help ministry leaders, help, leaders in general to be able to either create content or be able to create that work-life balance.
Right.
And so if that's what I'm known for, then everything that I'm producing needs to point in that direction.
Right.
About work-life balance, about time management, about how to help them be more, create more content. I would not be posting things about how to do decor for my house. Number one, because that's not in my lane of brand. And number next is I'm not very good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't think that's true.
No. Well, I steal from other people. Meaning that I'm like, I am trainable.
So you're
I'm
looking
trainable.
at the Instagram of the people who are sharing that.
It's like I do not like to shop unless there's mannequins in a building.
Right.
Because I cannot
you need to see it on the
I
mannequin.
need to see it.
Yeah.
I need to see okay, here's what I'm going to create. I created a gallery wall in my living room, and I had to actually see a picture of a gallery wall.
Yeah.
And then I created that gallery wall. But what is your brand and what resonates with your audience, because that's your brand. And if you hear our dogs barking, it's because they are barking.
They are. That's what's happening currently.
So yeah, they're barking right now. And they're a little bit of my brand.
And they are.
Because
they're so cute.
They're my sweet dogs. So one of the things that that I wanted to be able to share with that is that just about being able to go all small for big productivity and being able to take little bites that make you feel good, little bites of your productivity. And what I mean by that is that years ago, my daughter, I was training her how to be able to eat with a spoon. And she was little, she was a toddler, and she had the spoon, and she was eating mashed potatoes, which she loved. And she had her spoon, and she grabbed the spoon, and she took the biggest spoonful, and then she just immediately shoved the whole thing in her mouth.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me, and then you could see her, like, she pulled the spoon out, and then she winced, and she swallowed, and you could see, like, tears.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, my goodness. And then she grabbed that spoon and took another big bite and did the same exact thing. Why? Because it tasted good.
Right.
But she was overwhelmed because she was trying to do too much of a good thing.
Right.
Too fast.
Right.
And that's what we do with our productivity. We try to do too much of a good thing too fast. So when it comes to
it hurts to swallow.
It hurts to swallow. And then we keep doing it over and over because we know it's good. So going bigger must seem good. Right. Because it's such a good thing. I'll just do more of it.
Right.
And then we end up losing ourselves in it. And that is true. That is my whole, when I go and keynote speak and talk about this, I have 2 different spoons that I take with me, and I talk about this story, and I talk about the balance and how more type A people see the spoon differently than more like laid back, more artistically creative people see the spoon a little bit differently, but they both get in a ditch, and how to be able to balance that.
Right.
So that's what I share when I keynote speak, and I take them through a process of how to be able to find that balance. But the very beginning of that is about not trying to bite off too much. Right. So when it comes to branding, don't try to bite off too much.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
What are you known for? When people think of you, what do they think of? And try to go simple in that approach. And then just start brain dumping a list of, what does that look like? Yeah. So when I say brain dump, you literally get a sheet of paper and you just start writing out, this is the first L in all. So the first, it's A, ask the right questions. What are you known for? Keeping it simple. Second is the L is list build. Get a sheet of paper. Just start writing things down about, okay, what kind of colors do I like? Right. And just start writing down. And then look up different colors. I'm not a color expert. You're more of that. Yeah. You're great at decor. But I'll just look up like swatches.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what goes together.
Yes. And you look up, they're called hexes. So you're trying to figure out what hex color that you want, and the hex is HEX, and then there'll be a hashtag, and it'll say like a 4 or 5 digit number, right? And that's the number that you're trying to figure out. And I'll show you right here that I actually just on a 3x5 card have my 5 hexes.
Oh yeah,
down.
just written down. So
I just
when you're
have them written
creating
down.
things,
So when I'm creating anything, I know that these are the 5 colors that I'm going to use to create anything.
Yeah.
And I just keep it. And when you're dealing in design, you're dealing with, I love Canva. I use Canva. I highly recommend it if you're designing any kind of logo. And you can save your hexes in Canva, and you can have a brand kit and you can get a free subscription to Canva and do it that way. Or you can be able to pay just minimal, less than $15 a month.
Yeah.
And you can be able to hold all your hexes in a brand kit. And then as you're creating things,
it's just all there.
So it's all there.
Yeah,
it's
Canva's
easy.
great.
So you just brain dump. Look at, okay, what hexes would I like? So you look at that. You look at, okay, well, what kind of aesthetics do I like? Look at other people's sites that are similar in your genre. And then okay, I see that they use a lot of humor, or they don't use humor. It looks more corporate. And I'm talking about when you're creating a website, when you're creating that aesthetic for Instagram, like how do you do that when it comes to Instagram?
Oh yeah. So Instagram's kind of cool because I feel like, there's not as much emphasis on your feed anymore. But when it comes to stories, I notice a lot where creators will take, like they have their colors like on the background of their stories. And that's like the colors that they use when they're typing and stuff. And I recognize that it helps me when my Instagram switches from one person's story to another. I can see the difference.
Oh, that's good.
Because you can see, like you recognize the branding that it's gone like with that creator.
That's really good.
Yeah, neat. There's one girl that I think of in particular that she shares just like motherhood and life, and she always uses this like bright yellow writing, like type.
Yes.
And it's bright yellow, and she's like really funky colors anyway, like in her everyday. And so as soon as I see it, I know whose page I'm looking at.
Yes.
It's kind of neat.
That is neat. I have a friend that has a podcast, and she has a big yellow umbrella that is for branding.
I love that.
And so yellow, she uses a lot of yellow. I use blue. That's why this wall back here is painted blue.
Yes.
Because it is, part of the branding. But again, this is genuine to me.
Right.
Because my whole house is blue.
Right.
I've got blue all over the place in my house.
Right.
So then it matches my home decor, and it's part of who I am. And so it is true. And then you can look at that branding from a perspective of what kind of things are you creating in the brand. So as you're making that list, you're writing down your hexes, you're writing down like, okay, these are the colors that I like. Here's what kind of style do I want in my content that I'm creating? So does it look more corporate style, meaning that there's a couple of people that I like their style, and so I'll talk right to the camera in a reel that'll go out.
Right.
And then I'll create something. You don't see me like doing a lot of like pointing and dancing, and that's just not my style. And so I just don't do that style. But you can look at trends, but you can gear it towards your style. It doesn't have to be. So you start looking and just make a list of all these things. Just start writing down like lists. Set a timer for 30 minutes. Look up the hexes. Look up other people and what they're doing. Create a style. Figure out what you want to do. Also find your fonts. What fonts do you want for your style? I have like 2 fonts or 3 fonts that I use all the time.
Right.
And that's your branding, because your website needs to have 2 or 3 fonts at the most, because then it doesn't look cluttered. It looks consistent.
Right.
So the fonts are, what type the word is going to be styled in. And you want to be able to create that and have that same look. And so, but just start writing all this stuff down. Like it'll take you like 30 minutes to be able to do some research on that, do that. And then once you've asked the right question on what your brand is, and then you've written down a list of, okay, here's the things that I'm collecting. And then the next L is learn to do little. So in that, let me give you an example. Website, writing copy for a bio, for a cold open, about the problem that you're going to solve. What's a cold open? That is when somebody comes on your website, or a cold open could be, I think about cold open is what we use in video production when it comes to producing sketch comedy. And sketch comedy, if you ever see a sitcom, and at the very beginning of a sitcom, or the very beginning of like a sketch comedy, like Saturday Night Live, or those types of shows, is that the very, very beginning of that sitcom or that sketch comedy, there'll be what's called a cold open. And it'll be like maybe a 2-minute skit that may not have anything necessarily to do with the rest of the skit, but it kind of is a teaser for the skit. And it's just a little quick 2-minute, like something to catch their attention. And it really is, it's like I do a cold open for podcast. I get up here and say, hey, you know, this is the podcast. It's called a teaser or a cold open. It's called a teaser in podcasting. So you want to think about, okay, if you're going to create a cold open for your podcast, or you're going to create a cold open for your copy on your website, because what a cold open on your website would be is that when somebody comes to your website, the very first paragraph they see is the cold open.
Right. Some people, like on Instagram, they call it a hook.
Right. Yeah. Hook, teaser, cold open. It's all the same thing. Yeah. So you've got that hook, and at the very beginning of that, so think about what your hook is and what that's going to be, and it has to do with your branding. It's got to have something to do with your with what the message is that you're sending out and who your audience is. Without me getting into all the details, there's a formula that you can put together that helps you get to this quicker, that I help my clients with. There's also some tips on how to be able to do that. If you're interested in these things, please put that in the comment below, because if I go down that rabbit trail, I'll be there for a while. But there's just like a formula to help you get there. It's to be able to get that hook and what you want to be able to have your audience. Also, it has to do with keywords and SEO. If you want information about SEO for like websites and things like that, please put that in the comment below, because I do website SEO. It's search engine optimization, which helps people to find your website easier, but there's some specific things that you do behind the scenes in your website. And it's not like writing code or anything like that, but there's some little tweaks that you can do in less than 30 minutes to make it more attractive to people to find your website.
Very cool.
And so, but that cold open is like, okay, just a little paragraph about yourself. So if you go on my website at amberanddavis.com, you'll see the cold open. It is, and I'll just pull it up here real quick, that, whoops, and I just messed that up. So, but I'm just going to open this up. I'm going to try to do this quickly. But if you go to my website, it's just like a picture of me, and I'm like, hey there, I'm Amber, and it says, producing in your work and enjoying time at home seems like opposing forces, but it is possible to produce big while balancing work, family, and your faith. And then I go on to talk about, like, just real quick, I like to say that work-life balance is less about trying to balance it all and more about going all small. I'm all about all small productivity. Get my free teaching here. And so it just is a little bit a blurb about, hey, I'm talking to my audience. So if you're trying to create your website teaser, that's what it'd be. It's like you're talking right at your audience. If you're trying to create an Instagram profile, same kind of thing. You just, or what is it called? A profile?
The profile, like your bio.
Your bio.
Same thing.
Same thing.
So it's like super shortened, but same thing. You want people to know who you are, what problem you solve, and how you help them.
Exactly. The same thing on LinkedIn, how you solve the problem, how they, who you are, what you want to be known for.
Yeah.
But you've got to know the answer to these questions in order for you to be able to do that. So that's just one little way, but set a 30-minute timer and just start writing that little paragraph, that little snippet.
Yeah.
So that can help you.
Amber talked about this on the last episode, actually, a little bit, but set that 30-minute timer. Don't let this be a time suck. Don't let it take you all day, and decide what colors you want and all the things, because that can easily, like, you start looking at all of these different creators and all these different hex codes and palettes that could easily be something that, sucks your time away. So make sure you're keeping it in those little small bites, like you said.
It's true. And that's how you go all small when it comes to branding and marketing, is ask the right question. How am I branding? Like, what do I want to be known for is the question you should be asking yourself. What is it that I want to be known for? What kind of problem am I solving for my audience? And who is my audience to be able to help connect? Those are the right questions to ask. Ask the right questions, list build, get a list out, start doing research and writing down, like, or just write down like what kind of things. And I've really given you a list here. You can just write down those things, hexes, fonts, style,
Right.
like how you want to present yourself, those kind of things. And then set a 30-minute timer and just start researching those things. Find the hexes that you want, get 3 to 5 hexes, numbers for your colors, get your font, figure out the 2 to 3 fonts that you want to use for your website, figure out, okay, here's my style. I want it to be approached from this way. That's a great jumping off start. If you don't have a marketing guru, a marketing company helping you do that, you can do those things on your own.
Right. That's so true. Do you think that this is something that once you decide on your brand, you can't ever change it?
I don't think that I think that you can change aspects of your brand, but if you're reaching that same audience, it will be confusing for your audience to switch that branding.
Yeah.
Like that, meaning that you can niche down in your brand. I've done that. I started off just focusing on just leaders in general,
right,
and Christian leaders and leaders in general. And then I've kind of niched down to where I'm helping content creators,
right,
but I'm also being able to reach other people, but that's where I've niched down. So niching down for sure you can do. Just if you completely change your brand, it's like somebody going to their favorite restaurant and then they come in and they're serving a totally different menu.
Right. That's so true.
Just know that you're going to confuse your audience.
Yeah. It's like the girl I said that I know when I'm looking at her stories, if she were to change to pink, I'd be like, wait, who is this?
Exactly. But you can change. I mean, you can change somewhat. I mean, the All Small Productivity podcast began as the Be Encouraged Today podcast, but my audience was the same as far as like, professionals, people that want to be able to create content or helping people. I didn't call it creating content, but they were people that were creating content out there, but they were Christians. And so Be Encouraged Today was still focused on that. And then I just took it from Be Encouraged Today to All Small Productivity because I talked so much about all small productivity when I did Be Encouraged Today, that it was a natural progression.
Right.
So I just niched down in the brand instead of just like completely just changing it. So it's the same kind of thing as that I think about like restaurants when keto became a thing, they started adding like keto to their keto items to their menu. Yeah. You know, so they started like pulling away, like McDonald's pulled away from having like things be so focused on this calorie thing that they started putting up lists of like what the calories content in each one of their items was. Right. And then they started selling salads and some other things, but they still had the Big Mac. They still had their signature items there. And so I think that's what you can do when it comes to branding.
That's so good. I think Jay Christopher's did this.
Christopher's.
It's like a restaurant, like a steak restaurant. But the original owner wanted every single, it was like a statewide thing. There were multiple restaurants, but every single one of them was called something different. And then when somebody else took over, they were like, no, we need one solid name so that everybody has that awareness that that's who we are. So it's like that. If you're trying to talk to everybody, you don't talk to anybody.
That's right.
And you've talked about that before too.
Right.
So it's so good.
And you think about too, like I think about IHOP recently in the last like 5 years, they had like some kind of decision making where they decided that they're going to start making burgers now instead of pancakes.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, well, your whole title is International House of Pancakes.
Yeah.
That's what IHOP stands for. So it was like, now you're going to sell burgers. That's very confusing to your clients. And that would be like Five Guys Burgers and Fries. All of a sudden, they're selling burritos.
Right.
You know, it just doesn't make sense to do that. So you've got to know your audience. And a lot of times, you know, it's important to be able to look at trends and see what's trending and what is happening. But there is something to be said about being steady through those crazy trending things. And then people will come back to that steady factor. That doesn't mean that you just, don't pay attention to certain trends.
Right.
You should, but
if it fits.
It's got to be genuine.
It's like if there's like a funny dancing video trend, we're probably not going to do that.
Yeah. It's just not me. It would come across
but some
really
people
awkward.
It works really great for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I know people that use it and it's really funny and I follow them.
Yeah.
I like it and it's good. And it's just, I would not be able to do that.
Right.
Like it would come across very like cringy, like just gross. Like it would be
why?
What is she doing?
Why is she doing
Right. Like I'd be pointing and stuff. And it's not that I haven't tried doing some things because I have tried. I did like a couple of Instagram reels where I'm like pointing like this and making a point. But as far as like doing the dances and all the things, I just it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not who I am.
Yeah.
And the biggest way that you can figure out how you should brand, the biggest way is to pray.
Yeah.
Pray and ask God, because my identity is in Christ. And so for me, God is going to give me the compass to be able to know how I should be able to brand the person that he created me to be.
Yeah.
And so I don't get wrapped up in what other people are doing.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's so important to be able to, that's a game changer for me. Like I couldn't do any of it if it wasn't for Jesus and God helping me to be able to maneuver that, to be able to know what I need
foundation.
Right.
That's
to be able to what I need to put out there.
That's good.
So it's really important.
That's so good.
So
this was such a fun episode. I hope this encouraged people.
Yes, I hope so too.
Yeah.
And if you want to know more about branding, you can be able to send a comment to me. Let me know. And I do private coaching for some branding. What I say some is that my time, I have so much time, as you have so much time to be able to devote to that. So, but I do have a lot of resources around this when it comes to the podcast and when it comes to being able to connect with me at amberanddavis.com. You can get my free teaching on the best way to plan your week. You can look on the service page on that website as well and look at being able to reach out to me if you do want some private coaching. I do some private coaching, but because I only have so much time, it's limited. So, but reach out to me if that's something that you're interested in. Go to amberanddavis.com.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We love it. Remember to connect with Amber on all of her social media platforms. Subscribe, like, and share with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. And remember to, as always, to go all small for big productivity. We'll see you next week. All Small Productivity Podcast is brought to you by myself, Amber N. Davis, using the podcasting platform Buzzsprout, which I highly recommend. Recording and editing is done by my husband's company, Dad Chavis Productions. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember to go all small for big productivity. We'll see you next week.